This is a command which Savitri is receiving to do yoga. And the command is very specific. She has to vanquish time and death. In fact, this is a turning point in the life of Savitri. Until now, she was too human. She was engrossed in the grief that her husband would soon die, and as a human person, she was weighing all the pros and cons of this particular eventuality. What she was going to do about that, she has absolutely no clue. At one time, she thought that let things happen the way they would happen and should accept the normal course of life. At the same time, she was constantly haunted that she being so one with her husband, she cannot live without him. So, in her reckoning, she even considered the possibility of going as sati on the pyre when her husband's body will be burnt. Savitri, however, dismisses that possibility. There is something in her which keeps on prompting and telling her that Savitri, you have not come for that purpose. You have a work here to do. You have a mission to fulfill. You cannot go away without carrying on that mission. You have to carry out that mission. She recognizes the importance of it. She considers what will happen to the elderly people, Satyavan's parents, helpless parents. They would not get any help at all from anybody, and she cannot leave them just like that. In other words, she saw in them, in her in-laws, the entire agony of the world quintessensed. How can you leave the world in suffering like that without any help? She saw that agony in them, and she immediately then became calm, quiet. While she was weighing all the pros and cons, going back and forth, suddenly she becomes composed. She attains a certain kind of a poise, which is almost a yogic poise. And it is that poise which gives her a sort of a yogic beginning, to the extent that even the very self of grief, the grief's self, grief personified, not her grief, but the grief of the universe personified, has fallen calm, has become calm. When the grief self has become calm, she has already entered on the path of the yoga. At this particular stage, she gets a command. She receives an adesh. She is told that she has to rise up and face the eventuality of time and death. The grief self has become calm. She has become very tranquil, like a statue. Her soul, her amethyst soul, the amethyst fire in her has lit that statue, and it is that statue now which can receive the command in its completeness, in its fullness. Howsoever that wine of advice is poured into her, the divine joy, divine advice, divine command is poured into her, she is now fully ready to receive that completely. That is what her amethyst soul is. And with that command, Savitri is now ready to launch on her yogic journey. The command is very specific. The first thing which she has to do is she must discover her soul. She must find her soul. Only when she has found her soul, and only when she has housed in her soul the divine power, the divine Shakti, the consciousness force itself, can she conquer time and death. Time, the Kala Chakra, the Niyati, its action, its movement, that has to be stopped, that has to be conquered. The Kala Purusha will be standing in front of her. He'll be taking the form of death himself, and Savitri has to vanquish him, has to win victory over him. The important thing is Savitri has to vanquish him. Savitri cannot destroy death. She has to win victory over him, because death is immortal. He cannot be destroyed. What can happen is he stays away from the entire scene, or else he gets transformed into his true self. So vanquishing time and death would also mean that Savitri is going to transform death himself. That is the real victory Savitri is going to win, and the command is for that purpose.